From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, Jeff Cesario. With Gina Grad on news, Bald Bryan on sound effects, we'll play a round of made-up movie and get the sports with Chet Waterhouse. And now, we're recording this before Biden announces his VP, but it's a safe bet that he's going to hate her no matter what. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice, but again, any mandate, you get it on. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for sharing. Right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Bald Bryan is coming home from a medical appointment and should be with us post-haste. We will talk to him about his sort of spiritual retreat. And I want to also get a medical update with him as well. So we'll have that coming up. I got 1,000,010 things to talk about. First off, I always marvel at the busy people and how on top of it they can be about the smallest things in their universe. And I've always loved that saying, and I've always thought it was one of the truest sayings ever, which is if you want to get something done, I'm paraphrasing, but if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. Right, because it's so true. The busiest people I know who are like your Jimmy Kimmels of the world are also able to carve out time for you and get to the little minutia things. And it was so funny. So Mark Garagos was in this studio a week and a half ago, and I was giving him this long-winded soliloquy on what's going on in my neighborhood with the stupid drain and the stupid city and the stupid guy behind the house and everything else. And he's always on the fly. He's literally on the fly. He's running to the airport, getting on another jet. And he just said, "Oh, I'll write a letter to the city. I'll get this handled."
Oh.
Now, by the way, handled is $5,000 that is in escrow, and they're not giving it back to me until the city signs off on this drainage work that I did. Now, I don't want to bore everyone with all the details, and you've heard a lot of the details when I was playing you the clip with Garagos last week, or the week before, whatever it was. But the long and the short of it, here's an interesting thought experiment for everyone. Just think about this. Just open your mind and think about this concept. Okay. I lived in a house and I put a pool in my backyard, and the neighbor behind me decided to tell me that what I did screwed up the drainage and was screwing up his property. He insisted that I tampered with the drains. He and my pool man, eventually the guy who installed the pool, assured them that all we did was put a pool in. There was no diverting any water or drainage or anything. Not to say that there isn't a water problem, but it wasn't caused by us.
There's no terrorist action.
He refused to accept that concept. He then hired an engineer who was like a drainage engineer, although he didn't hire him. He retained the guy, sent him over to the house, and I paid for the guy. That guy then handed me a plan of what would fix the problem, which was on the street. The city then said, "We want no part of this. We're not getting involved." I then executed his plan. So I paid him $1,300 for the plan. Then I fixed the problem. Now, I explained to the neighbor behind me 10 times what would fix the problem because I did fix it by just pulling the grate off 6 inches. Of course, he didn't believe me, insisted I execute what the engineer had drawn up. I then executed it. I then presented it to the city. The city then said, "You must tear it out and put it back to how it was." I then showed them the plan and said, "This was drawn up by certified drainage engineer, and all I did was execute it." They looked at the plan and they said, "We don't believe you. We don't think this plan is going to work. We want you to tear it out." I said, "How about you just let it rain and we'll see what happens?" By the way, when I was selling the house, the new owner said, "We don't believe you. We're not going to trust you on this city thing or this drain thing or anything. Take out $5,000, put it in an escrow. When the city signs off on it, then we'll free up your $5,000. I said, fine. I did all that. Then the city kept slapping, summonses on the house saying, you're in violation. You didn't get this signed off on. I then went to them and said, why don't we just see if it works? Just let it rain and we'll see if it works. And they said, you know what? Fine. We'll see how it works. We don't think it's going to work, but we'll let it rain. We'll see how it works. Then it rained. Then it worked perfectly. Then the city kept slapping summonses on the address saying you're in violation. Then the homeowner kept coming to me and the realtor going, they keep slapping this violation stuff on it. Then I went back to the city and I said, what's up? And they said, well, the guy who said, we'll just wait and see how it works, he's on medical leave and he's not coming back. And I've showed it to my engineer and he doesn't think it's going to work. And I said, it does work. It works perfectly. It works perfectly. We had a huge rain season. It worked perfectly. And then they said, well, here are your two choices. You can meet an engineer over there and see if you can get it to our level of whatever, or just then I get an email from the realtor saying, just jack it out. Just jack the whole thing out. Just go up there with a sledgehammer and your guys just bust the whole thing out, put it back to how it didn't work, and then we'll get our summons to sign off on the city, and then we'll give it to the realtor, and then the homeowner will free it up, and you get your $5,000 out of escrow. This has been going on for well over a year. All the expense has been out of my side. I've done nothing wrong. I've corrected a problem that I didn't create. Here's my thought experiment. What if we were a black family?
Ooh.
Everyone around me is white. The inspectors, the city guys, the neighbor behind me, the realtor, the home, everyone is white. What if we were a black family? What would be our only conclusion? What could we draw?
You'd feel very, very harassed.
How else could we explain this insane harassment over trying to do the right thing over and over again, spending money out of our own pocket and constantly being harangued and harassed by the white neighbors behind us and the white city officials and the white realtor? What other conclusion could we draw? Mm-hmm. Well, there's your thought experiment, America. Happens all day, every fucking day. And I would buy into it, too, if I just wasn't a heterosexual white guy who realized these are all assholes. We're surrounded by assholes, not racist, assholes. I've been talking about this for a million years. This guy's at the city, they're not racist, an asshole neighbor behind me, he's an asshole. These are assholes. They're not racist. That's what people don't understand. And I would argue if we were a black family, they wouldn't even try this shit. So Mark Garagos, who's the busiest man in the world, leaves that day, and I don't hear from him for about a week, and I'm like, I don't know, do I bug Mark on this kind of? I get a note from his guy at his law firm today going, I need to talk to you. We're sending a letter to the city. Sad that you got to know a Garagos. All right, thought experiment over. Bryan has joined us right back from the hospital.
Sounds like you got real problems, man.
Mm-hmm. I do. Real problems. Not your CAT scan MRI problems. These are, I got $5,000 in escrow, brosif.
The comedy of errors that was the MRI. So yesterday I went from a regular scheduled MRI and they had trouble finding a vein. When I say had trouble, they couldn't find a vein despite 6 attempts at poking me at various points of my arms and hands.
Were you dehydrated?
I may have been a little bit, but like I tried my best to hydrate. Except I also have lost a lot of weight, so maybe that has something to do with it. Anyway, so they got half. So the way they usually do,
how much weight do you reckon you've lost?
I am down to 143 pounds, and that is the lowest I've been since middle school.
What were you at?
Probably about 170.
So we're almost 30 pounds?
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot in a very short amount of time. Thankfully, I'm off my medication now, and usually that sounds like a bad thing, but it's a good thing for me because I feel better. My voice sounds better. I'm eating more. I put on a couple pounds in the last week or so.
Well, and you also showed the picture of your fingers. And
thankfully they've improved significantly.
Yeah, that's good.
We're looking at them now.
Back to normal. So everything's improving. That's the good news. Bad news is no MRI yesterday. They have to inject contrast, right? So the doctor can see the tumor and see how it looks, how it's growing.
Yeah, explain that. injecting contrast?
So the way it works is I get an MRI of the brain with and without contrast. I get it like a regular MRI just without contrast. And halfway through, they pull me out of the machine and they inject me, usually in one shot, with a contrast into my vein.
Barium?
Yeah, it's not barium, but it's similar. It lights up, tumor and whatever. So that way the doctor can clearly see what's going on with the tumor. Happens every time. This time, for whatever reason, it's the only time it's happened. Yesterday, they just they poked me so many times trying to find a vein. They couldn't do it. Very painful, as you can imagine. And so thankfully, and of course, comedy of errors, they're like, yeah, you're going to have to come back. I'm like, all right, can I come back tomorrow? Well, our system's down. Of course, the system's down. So I called like their main headquarters later in the day. And they're like, yeah, we can squeeze you in at 11:45 on Tuesday, which is today, whereas we're recording. And I'm like, in Beverly Hills, like, that's perfect. That actually should leave me plenty of time to get home. And of course, they're running behind and blah, blah, blah. And they had to burn 2 discs for me to bring to my doctor. So blah, 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 blah. Hence, I'm 10 minutes late. So, but they did, you can see here, they did eventually find a vein, inject the contrast, do the 20-minute.
If you're listening, he's pointing at his dick.
Yeah.
So, and when do you get the results?
Tomorrow morning.
And what are your feelings?
I feel, guardedly optimistic. I feel good. I don't feel any tumor symptoms, so to speak. I know the most likely outcome is that the doctor's going to say, things look the same. Let's maybe do this, continue the treatment or whatever. Best case scenario is he looks, wow, it looks a lot better, and let's discontinue treatment and blah, blah, blah. I'm hoping for that. I know it's not the most realistic outcome, but I feel good, and I don't feel, all my symptoms are bouncing back, all the side effects, and I don't feel any additional brain tumor symptoms, which is what they were worried about. So feeling
yeah, because you're pretty sensitive. I don't mean you personally. I just mean like one is you understand what that sensation is of a growing tumor because speech and movement.
You'll just feel a little dizzy or a little whatever. My doctor said to me years ago, and I always remember this, if your tumor starts to grow, you'll be the first one to know because you just feel a little off.
Well, and I don't know if Christy went through this, but I know so many people who said, like, I knew I was pregnant before I took a pregnancy test. Like, you just know, you just feel something different in your body. So of course you'd be the first to know.
My brain's pregnant with a tumor.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, I do not mean to interrupt, and I want to make sure that whatever we're covering, we cover it thoroughly. And I know as people hear this, we're a day behind, but the VP pick is in.
Oh, really?
Any guesses?
Oh boy. I think, let's see.
I put a few bucks on some long shots, so I'm hoping
I can't wait to hear.
Oh, well, in that
I'm
case.
going to say Kamala Harris has too much sort of law and order background where that's not a good vibe, the sort of prosecutor background these days. I think that maybe a Susan Rice. I'll just go, is it Susan Rice? I'll go Susan Rice.
I'll just go with my long shot picks, which were Tammy Duckworth and Karen Bass.
Oh, Duckworth.
I like
Duckworth is good. Duckworth is a good call.
I liked Duckworth and Keisha Lance Bottoms personally, but I just got a notification. I hope I'm not telling tales out of school. Oh, yeah. I told Andy in the other room, as soon as you hear it, text me. He just said he just announced it on Twitter. I was like, cite your source, because I don't want to be wrong. According to Andy in the other room, who's watching it on Twitter, Kamala Harris.
The pick we all should have seen coming.
Yeah.
I thought they hated each other.
Who cares?
Who
Don't
cares?
they all?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm a little surprised. I actually thought we kind of were done with her.
No, she was the betting favorite for almost the entire time.
Yeah.
There's something about her that feels disingenuous or sort of like she has a kind of I'll do whatever needs to be done. I guess all politicians are that way.
I think politician, yeah.
Certain, but you think about historically, like you go, there's Jimmy Carter and there's Ronald Reagan, and they're very different. A lot of daylight between those two politically, but I always felt like I knew who they were. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I knew who Jimmy Carter was, and I felt like I knew who Reagan was, and I felt like I knew who Clinton was. Like I kind of felt like I knew who those people were or like what they wanted, you know?
Yeah.
I don't feel that way about Kamala Harris.
Well,
I just
it's
feel like
like-
she'll do or say whatever is going to
Yes.
work. And maybe that's just the new world order. I don't
And
know.
it's like what you say about commercials. You can be whatever you want, but don't be confusing. And we don't have a grip on who she is. Here's the tweet. I'm looking at it right now. This is Joe Biden. I have the great honor to announce that I've picked Kamala Harris, a fearless fighter for the little guy and one of the country's finest public servants, as my running mate. Back when Kamala was Attorney General, she worked closely with Beau. I watched as they took on big banks, lifted up working people, and protected women and kids from abuse. I was proud then, and I'm proud now to have her as my partner in this campaign.
Well, how long before can we call a woman of color a public servant? I don't know. I feel that's demeaning. That's problematic. All right. Well, we'll see how that plays
Shakes out.
I was watching. So, Bryan, you'll tell us about the MRI tomorrow when you get the results.
Yeah, hopefully good news.
I was watching CNN this morning, and they were talking about, they had a college professor from UNC, I think, and he was explaining that he's organizing a boycott not to go back to school. But there's something that's going on with 50-something-year-old dudes these days, which is they're turning into fucking pussies, and it's fucking scaring the shit out of me. And so this guy is a professor, and I just turned it on, and he was on, and here's what I'd say. But you have to listen to a couple of his analogies. Go ahead, Dawson.
A group of UNC professors writing an open letter to UNC undergrads with a very clear message. Please stay home. Joining me now is one of the UNC faculty members behind that letter. What are you hearing from students? Do you think your fears are going to be realized?
Well, yes, we do. We have every reason to suppose so, given the statistics in North Carolina over the past couple of months. And there's reason to believe that all the constituencies on campus share these concerns. I mean, I read in the Daily Tar Heel just yesterday that one student, a student leader, said he felt like he was walking into a burning building. And
All right,
that was
hold
an
on.
apt metaphor.
Hold on. This is a student leader? A leader? He's a leader. Going back to school as a 19-year-old is walking into a burning building. It's a fucking insult to firemen, number one. Number two, who's safer than young people, young, healthy people? No, it's not an apt metaphor, you retardus. That's a fucking horrible metaphor. It is the opposite. All right. Would you rather walk into a burning building or walk into a fucking building with COVID-19 in it? Number one, if you're fucking young. But these guys are such fucking pussies. It scares me, man. People don't realize the danger and safety. They really don't. They really don't understand the downside of having a bunch of fucking pussies expressing themselves this way all the time. But he doesn't. He said that the student leader, he was a leader of students, like a leader of men, everybody, said walking onto that campus or walking into a building would be like walking into a burning building, and that's an apt metaphor. That's apt. Yeah.
Leaders are the ones who go into burning buildings and rescue kids and cats.
Not leaders of the pussies.
Yeah.
These are
That's
pussy
why I said
leaders. And this guy, this healthy, white, 52-year-old professor's too fucking scared to go back and fucking teach. All right, pussy. So he's gonna get a boycott going because this is scary. I looked up North Carolina, and I did a couple things. I'll play the rest of the tape because there's another metaphor coming, everyone.
Oh.
Maybe even worse than a burning building.
So he felt like he was walking into a burning building. And that was an apt metaphor.
As you mentioned, your open letter was addressed to the undergrads on campus, but have you heard anything back from school leaders?
No, they have not answered that letter. They have not answered that message. They are bound and determined to head over that cliff like Thelma and Louise. Their foot's on the accelerator.
Wow. That's what you do when you run a school. You kill all the students. You know what I mean? Like Thelma and Louise. They're bound and determined. They're going right off that fucking cliff like Thelma and Louise. Yeah. Or they're reopening their college, douche. Jesus Christ. I'd be the worst fucking anchor ever because they'd be like, they're going up. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, not quite a burning building. All right.
Bob, please.
Jeez, what a fucking pussy. All right, so we got that, but I was looking it up, and I was like, how's North Carolina doing in the death department? And they got 21 out of 100,000 people. New Jersey's like 170 something, and New York's like 168 or something, and Massachusetts like 160 or 150 something. North Carolina's at 21. I also said, here's an interesting thing. We have this crazy thing where like Hawaii is at number 2, and New Jersey's got 170 something per 100,000, and California's, I don't know, 25 or whatever we're at. I said to Gary, figure out the average. Like, what is the average if you took all the states and you just went per 100,000 citizens? What is the average? The average is right around 42, which makes sense because, you got New York at 160 something, and you got Montana at 4. Right. So the average is like the average is like 42, and North Carolina's at 21. So they're below the average in the death department. I don't know if they're having flare-ups or what's going on over there, but either way, puss, we got to get back to work. We got to get back to school. And you fucking getting your panties in a bunch and going on CNN and talking about going into a burning building in Thelma and Louise makes you look like an imbecile. It doesn't make me think there's more danger. It makes me think you're a pussy and an imbecile. Other than that, I have great respect for the man. Oh, God, you imagine this guy's teaching your kids? Fucking Commander Puss is teaching
Hopefully he's
your
not
kids.
teaching English.
Yeah, it was a great metaphor. It's very apt. Very apt, yeah.
Is this UNC Charlotte, you said?
No,
I don't
Chapel
know.
Hill.
I don't know.
Oh,
What
okay.
He said the Daily Tar Heel.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Just interesting that how you say as the pussification increases, so does the cage match. Mm-hmm. Well, isn't Charlotte where the RNC is supposed to be?
I guess. I don't know.
We have a major university wanting to close down and a major convention possibly heading.
I don't even know what's where anymore or what's going to happen. I can't. There's nothing.
Well, it was supposed to be Florida, but they
every time I talk to Mike August, he's like, "Well, we may be canceling Minnesota. We may be canceling. We don't know about Vegas. We're not sure whatever's on the table." So I now in my brain don't ink anything in. Everything's just a light pencil.
Until you're on stage.
Until I'm on stage. Like everything just gets stops and starts and stops and starts.
Well, that's what I mean. Like in terms of it might open, but we don't want it. And then the RNC's going, you might try to close us, but we want to be there. And it's all in the same state.
I'm pretty sure the RNC was originally scheduled for North Carolina, and that was the first place it bounced from. You know what I mean? Like the Florida came into play,
right,
and wherever came into play. I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
I have a little life lesson that has nothing to do with this for all of you, which is I'm fresh from the track, and has nothing to do with cars, but it'll be a metaphor, which is
apt.
An apt metaphor, a real apt metaphor, which is so somebody was saying to me, you're going to the track, you're driving this Datsun 510. What kind of lap? What are you looking for in your best lap? Everything's kind of best lap. What is your fastest lap? And I said, I think they wanted to know. They actually said, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want to do? You want to come in first place? You want to come in the top 3? Whatever. And I said, no. I have a time in my head that would be successful and a time that would be disappointing. And I know that from past experience that anything on that track that's not under a minute 50 seconds, anything over a minute 50 seconds would be disappointing to me. I could come in 26th place, but that's not really, I'm comparing myself to a clock, not the competition, because I don't drive that car. I've never driven it before. These guys drive their cars all the time. They're all dialed in. They know what they're doing. They know it well. I'm not going to compete with those guys, but I will be competing with myself, and I will be competing with the clock. So I said, I really like to get down in the 140 somethings. It'll be sort of high 140 somethings, but I would look at that as successful. And if I'm in the 150, 151 range, I'm not doing as well as I should be doing. And in that world, even though the track is 2.3 miles around, 3 seconds is kind of a long time 4 or 5 seconds is kind of an eternity. And so I went out there, and I didn't run the first session, the second session, the third session got cut short for me. I ended up getting about 5 laps in, and I went and looked at my app on my phone, and my best lap said 153. And I was like, ugh, yuck. Like, I'm so disgusted with myself. And I was like, well, you didn't run the first session. You didn't run the second session. You only ran the third. You never drove the car before. So maybe you should cut yourself a break. And I was like, no, 153 is kind of embarrassingly slow. And I then thought to myself, it felt like I was going pretty fast. It was like in the 6th lap. I got 5 or 6 laps. And I felt like I was moving a little bit. Like, no, you were not at 153. And then I was like, ugh. And we went out for the 4th session and the last session of the night. And there's a new app, by the way, which is, God, what don't they? They have everything for everything, which is your car has a transponder on it that gives you within a thousandth of a second your lap time. So they would be, or maybe it's 100,000. I mean, it's like be like 145.857. Like it gets into hummingbird's heartbeat kind of time. And there's an app that you can put on your phone that if you're standing somewhere else, maybe anywhere, not even at the track, you can just read the real-time lap times with this transponder. Anyway, I did a 147.957. So I got into the 147s by a hundredth of a second or whatever it is. And I was elated about it, even though I came in 11th place, which is, 11th place isn't cause for celebration, but that wasn't the plan. The plan was get into the 140s somewhere. I probably would have been happy with the 149 or 148, but I got into the 147s, and I was wildly satisfied by that, even though I didn't even come in the top 10 on the race. And the metaphor is approach life that way. Have your, it sounds corny and cliche, like you're competing against yourself, but I mean, go ahead and have your goals, have them be semi-realistic, but a little bit challenging at the same time, and don't worry about what the professionals are doing. You know what I mean?
We talk about like being results oriented versus process oriented. If your process is, we joke about, the process guys, but if your process is good, you're going to have good results, and sometimes someone will be better than you, and you might come in 11th place. But then if you're satisfied with the way the process went, yes, I executed and I came with a good time, then it's going to shake out in your favor most of the time.
Yeah, and it doesn't. There's the last 5 times I've been there, I've been in a faster car, and I'm like, I want to be in the 130 somethings, and each time I was like 141 and not satisfied with the result. I didn't beat myself up about it, but it's not the result I wanted or that I set for myself, or maybe I have to recalibrate. Maybe that's unrealistic for my skill level or the car or whatever it is. But when you get it, and again, like you have to, I think the key is 145 would have been completely unreasonable, and 150 or 151 would have been letting myself off a little bit easy.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into the 140s, but no way was I getting into the 145s. It's such an insane world where you cover 2.3 miles and the guy's doing 145 is tearing it up, and the guy's doing 149 is not going that fast. It's such a weird thing because it takes such a long time to come around.
Like the 40-yard dash times, the NFL. The difference between a 4.3 and a 4.6 is that's different positions.
I know, and 4.49 means you better be Tom Brady or you're not playing in that league. All right, we got some made-up movie to play with Jeff Cesario in a minute. We haven't played that in a while. First, I'll tell you about Burrow. A lot of you had to postpone summer travel. Make your staycations at home and try to make them as relaxing as possible. Do it on a sofa from Burrow. I love these guys, and I'm so about setting up your home and making it comfortable. You owe it to yourself. You can assemble it in minutes. You can do it by yourself. There's no tools. You can remove seats or add them. as needed. They have unique features you won't find in big box store sofas, like built-in USB phone chargers and durable scratch and stain-resistant fabrics. Over 23,000 ways to customize your fabric, your color, your shape, legs, the finish on the legs, armrest style, length, what have you. And more than sofas, rugs, coffee tables, shelves, love seats, armchairs, ottomans, and more. Fast, free shipping, zero interest financing. Take care of yourself, man. You owe it to yourself. Get Burrow, right, Dawson?
Get $75 off your Burrow purchase, plus fast and free shipping at burrow.com/Adam. Check out the site for details. That's BURROW.com/Adam for $75 off.
All right, let's take a quick break. We got Jeff Cesario. He'll do Chet Waterhouse, and we'll also do Made Up Movie with him right after this.
The Adam Carolla Show presents Jeff Cesario's birthday cocktail party for March 30th. Let's see who's at the party. Celine Dion is here. So is Piers Morgan. Slow Hand, Eric Clapton. Vincent Van Gogh. Paul Reiser's at the party. So is Warren Beatty. And Tracy Chapman? Stop. Hammer time. MC Hammer. Donna D'Errico. Richard Sherman. And Peter Marshall from Hollywood Squares? Let's party. Now back to the Adam Carolla Show.
And I might say a nice, diverse ethnic mix there going. Very 2020 of you, Cesario. Congratulations.
I would call that low-end eclectic.
Yeah, Jeff might be the one to beat.
Yeah, Van Gogh.
Yeah.
That is a good group. And we'll play Made Up Movie in a second. I think Jeff knows how the game works. A new stand-up special, by the way, What Was I Thinking, is available now on Pandora, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your music. And the podcast, Play with Pain with Chet Waterhouse, who we'll hear from coming up as well. Always excited to hear what Chet Waterhouse has in store for us. Available on Apple Podcasts as well. Jeff, what's a day like for you? You're not traveling, you're not gigging, as they say. How much writing you doing?
I was 80% of the way to full quarantine prior to quarantine. So this has been a very minor adjustment.
Yeah.
I do some writing. I do a lot of the stuff around the house. The physical stuff I handle because that's my wheelhouse. Anything with the computer or anything essentially mental, I just let my wife handle those. And I do things like pull tomato plants out and empty the dishwasher, stuff like that. I knock off all that. Then I sit down and I do some either writing or business work on the podcast, or we're getting a Sunday night simulcast going with where we cover the ESPN game. Chet Waterhouse calls it, and Adam Felber, who's a hilarious guy, is my color man. Tommy Ginch Henderson. So I've been organizing that, pushing the album, doing PR. And then in the afternoon, if I get a shot, I'll do a little writing, or I'll save it till nighttime when everybody else is in bed. Then I'll write. Should I say, then I'll write.
Yeah, with his fingers up in quotes. It's an interesting new world order with work, because work started, for me at least, to be so specific in that I would literally, people had time cards and would physically punch in, like down to the minute, when I would show up at the McDonald's and go in the back door and they'd go, change in your outfit first, then punch in. I wish I knew
that on your own time.
I wish I knew Mark Garagos back then, because I don't know. I feel like I'm here, man. I'm on the clock. But anyway, and then punch out for your break, punch out for like they literally just had down to the second. The moments you work, they could add up. Now there's this weird no time, weekends, who knows when you're going to, whatever your thing is. Like there are no, it's almost like we're just out in the ocean. There are no lanes anymore.
Although on the other side, it kind of fits into your thing, which is get the job done. If you get the job done, whatever it takes from you to get the job done satisfactorily at the least, and then above that, well done. That's what it takes. Some people can do that. Some people have the self-discipline to do it at home and knock it out in 2.5 hours. And then their boss is super happy and they're not getting ground down, like a pepper mill at some horrible insurance agency or something. They're knocking out the work at home and feeling pretty good about it. That could work for a larger percentage of the working public once this thing's over. We'll see.
I hope so. Although,
yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, then we're going to have to set in some sort of social emotional protocols from work and from home. Like you're going to have to be your own steward now. Like you're going to have to go, I am going to get up, take a shower, and take a 4-mile walk before I eat my breakfast. Because otherwise it's just going to turn to a sea of Pop-Tarts and, binge watching hoarders. Like some people are going to go off the rails pretty fast. And it is interesting that all of your sort of policing, I don't mean policing like is in the cops, but I just mean we grew up with everyone outside of you policing you. So it's like show up at school. Were you tardy? There was someone standing by the front door, the main entrance. If you didn't get in, they'd lock you out, or you'd have to go see your counselor. It's like then you'd work at McDonald's and you had a manager and the manager would look at your time card and watch you work, And then for me, I went to a construction site and you had a foreman and he was constantly just watching you. Like you couldn't sit down or do anything. He's just watching you the whole time. And I got very used to people policing me, essentially. Yeah. And once you get used to other people policing you, then you start making these deals like, all right, well, Mike Stromat's my foreman and he's a dick and he's policing me. But when he goes on a lumber run, I'm going to rub one out in the porta potty. Yeah. So right. So now you get in this weird relationship, which is I'm going to stop work the second the policemen stop looking. And then it becomes this weird kind of guard-prisoner kind of relationship. Yeah. And we're going to have to sort of rethink this whole thing, which is you're in charge of you. Like you're going to have, if you're going to get fat, you're going to get fat, or you can exercise. And if you're going to get work done, get work done. Right.
First things first, they got to have like a green porta potty for masturbation. It should be a separate porta potty.
No, you're right.
I don't think it should be going on in the same porta potties.
No,
you're pooping and peeing.
And
then second, right. this is a bit of a throwback to, and you probably caught the tail end of us. Yes, got used to policing, but when we were growing up, the goal for kids was to be an adult. Now the goal is for adults to be kids. So when we were kids, your parents would go, all right, not only are we leaving the room, we're leaving the house. We don't know when we're coming back. If we get back and shit's out of place, you're dead.
Right.
And you went, okay, I'm dead if shit's out of place, so nothing's going to be out of place. So you kind of did get some self-policing muscles, and we've kind of let those atrophy because we've got now all these built-in bosses. But I think you can exercise those and get them back pretty soon. Although the Costco, that's what we should defund is the Costco snack run. Because the M&M jugs are ridiculous.
So appealing.
Barrels. Yeah, that's the other thing, because you talk about the idea of, well, of course people want to go back to work. I mean, you could feel it in the air.
Yeah.
But anecdotally, I have friends that are like, I even got offered a job I turned down. I just don't feel like it. Talk about atrophy. It's real.
Well, Speaking of return to the office, Christie's actual office in LA did a survey, like an internal survey, anonymous, of course, of the employees. Are you ready? This is a month ago, let's say. Are you ready to go back to the office? And 2 of the employees said yes. And this is 250 employees. You know what I mean? It's incredibly smart. Now, granted, COVID was a little scarier maybe a month ago, and it was a little more of a off the table to go back to the office, but that's not empirical. I mean, that's not anecdotal. That's the survey.
That's hard data, and it's funny. Well, it's funny too because I go to the office every day, but I'm essentially alone. I mean, alone on a whole floor, and we had the same thing. And it's like you talk about with teachers, like students don't want to go back, teachers don't want to go back. Well, employees that have been working from home don't want to go back to the office, and those of us who go in don't want you back either. We've gotten used to the way it is.
I think
although the beginning of that sounded a bit like a Dateline episode. I'm the only one here.
I am.
I'm here hours on end.
At
The doors
night.
are locked. It's very dimly lit.
It's true.
except for the kindly old janitor of color.
right.
Herman
He's so
is a
kindly.
gentle. He wouldn't hurt a flies, man. Yes,
Sure.
he did serve some time, but he'd put that behind him, and
Let's
now he
talk
was
about it.
focused on his future.
It's like you guys are there.
Yeah, the thing that strikes me about Christie's office survey is I don't know if we can intellectually not blur our great desire to stay home with our fear of COVID-19, and if we can even separate those two. Like, I'm starting to believe if you said to a group of people, are you ready to go back to work? What is your fear level with going back to the office? And you surveyed 100 guys who lived in small apartments and hated their wives. They'd be like 96% are ready to go back, feel it's safe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if you had other people that were fucking having a good time in their plushy robes and had a good spouse and some square footage and stuff like that, you'd get the same percentage going, I don't think it's safe.
It's
And
the
I
fear
don't-
of putting on pants.
But I wouldn't even call either one of them liars. I would just think that's how the human mind works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The key is, can you get the work done at home? And it's true whether you're at work or at home. If you can get the work done, more and more, or corporations, quite frankly, are saying, cool, work at home.
I just had
knock yourself out. We can shut off a whole wing of this thing and save on HVAC.
I just had a funny comedy sketch notion, which is I do keep thinking about all these big, vast, multi-storied buildings with all the acreage and the parking and everything, and they're 20% full or no one needs to go back. I mean, Christie doesn't really probably ever need to go back, and maybe many of the coworkers don't need to go back.
Yeah, and they're in the biggest building on Miracle Mile, the biggest
Right,
building.
right. So here's my comedy sketch, which is there's all this square footage that's not being inhabited now, and so maybe this is a sitcom. The mayor decides that he can put the homeless up in these office spaces, that we don't have to put them up at the hotels anymore. We'll put them up. And before you know it, they start turning into business people, and the homeless guy comes out, the big load in his pants. He's like, Shelley, I need to see you in my office now. And they go over there and he's pointing at a chart, but the chart's upside down. It's like, we've had horrible growth. Wait a minute. Hold on. And they all just start assuming. It's kind of like Monty Python when the pirates were in the building or some version.
Still trading places.
A little bit of that. But either way, we take all the homeless population, we put them all in this white-collar business environment. And the next thing you know, they're suing each other for sexual harassment.
They're having meetings. They're having meetings with the trainer on how not to sexually harass.
That's right.
I like the idea that they supersede the couple of legitimate businesses that stayed on the floor because they were getting, so there's Chaz Dean Enterprises. They're
Right.
like, who are these bums moving in? And then 3 weeks later, they're going, they're cutting more hair than we are.
Right. They start,
How are they doing it?
There's the legitimate businesses that are stodgy and they're not going to do the stay-at-home stuff. They don't like the hobos who moved in upstairs, but it turns out they have some insight and some street knowledge that applies to their business, So they start learning. They get pearls of wisdom from the folks who've been learning how to live on the street, learned how to live on the street for the last decade. That's the heartwarming part. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How about this? For Lise and Lisa. That's the title. That's a working title. And we center it around a woman because that's the only way you're selling the show now.
I was just thinking hobo business. So well done, Jeff.
I like hobo business, though. It's more direct. If we're doing it for HGTV, it's hobo business. We're not even thinking twice.
All right. Well, now we're getting into what we're here for, which is playing the game Made Up Movie. Do we have an intro for that?
In a world where titles are many and plots are few, one man can take your movie names and make them come to life. What is going on? Adam Carolla stars in Made Up Movie.
And just so you know, Cesario co-wrote Jack Frost with Michael Keaton. Was that with? I mean, the movie starred Michael Keaton, but did you write that with him?
No, that was a classic Hollywood saga. There were 11 writing entities on that movie, one of which was a team of 3 people. And I was the last guy on. I had been hired strictly just to do some punch-up over the weekend. And I was lucky. It was one of my first film things, and it was about a musician. And I didn't think any of the musicians were talking like musicians, and I used to be a musician. So I rewrote the whole first act, and the director liked it and just said, "We're going with you." So I wound up doing enough work to share screen credit on it. But there were just classically Hollywood. Let's get another writing team in here and see what they can do. So I wound up doing the last thing, being the last guy, and they were already building sets in Lake Tahoe. And then I just rewrote, and then I wrote on the set with Keaton.
Wow.
Because he's a former comic, and he's just got one of the fastest minds I've ever worked with. So he would think of things, and I would get it and then run with it, and we'd try to create a scene. And you'd go, the only drag was you'd go, "Hey, this is a perfect scene for the railroad station." And they'd go, "Yeah, we're in a bedroom. That's it. We're locked in."
I don't know Keaton.
I don't rewrite it for a bedroom.
I don't know Keaton at all, but he just seems like a incredible talent to me.
Yeah, underrated.
Great guy. Great guy.
Underrated, maybe.
If you're bored, look up Michael Keaton Bazooka Joe comic bit.
Oh.
And that'll show you the genius he was as a stand-up comic. He's a brilliant stand-up comic. One of the first times, if we got a second, one of the first days I was in town, literally fresh off the turnip truck, I'm standing in the back of the original room at the comedy store, and Keaton's about to go on stage, and I'm standing there, I'm nervous as heck, just watching comics. And there's like 2 sales. It's like a Wednesday. There's 2 traveling salesmen next to me that's staying at the Hyatt next door, and they're chit-chatting about something. And there's people over here talking. And then they go, and at the time he'd just gotten a sitcom with Jim Belushi, Working Stiffs, I think it was called. And they go, "From Working Stiffs, please welcome Michael Keaton." Keaton walks up from around me, a very short walk in the original room, like 8 feet, you're on stage. He turns, he does his first 8 minutes jamming on what these 2 salesmen next to me had been talking about.
Wow.
He just riffs 8 hilarious minutes on these 2 guys. And I went, wow, I'm in the big leagues now. I got to get it together.
Wow. The first movie I think
impressive.
I ever saw him in. Do you guys remember Gung Ho?
Yeah.
George Wendt?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Michael
Japanese
Keaton?
car company.
Yeah, that's right.
American car company. I loved him in Night Shift. That movie always made me laugh.
Great movie.
You know what I was
Underrated movie.
You know what I was thinking about? Chris Maxbauer, you're going to do some quick on the fly here since we're just ruminating. But I was watching some like Wii TV and Love Boat. I'm obsessed with Love Boat and all these bad shows. And they're showing stuff from Happy Days is coming up or whatever. And they show Laverne and Shirley. And there's that character actor, and I can't think of his name, but there was a character called the Big Ragu. And the Big Ragu was like this tough guy. He was like the Fonz. What the Fonz was for the Cunningham family, the Big Ragu was for Laverne and Shirley. Like he was an enforcer. You know, if there was trouble, the Big Ragu would show up, you know.
Eddie Mecca?
Eddie Mecca. Henry Winkler is, 5'8" and a half and 141 pounds. And he was the guy who was threatening all the gangbangers, and all the guys going to mop up all the greasers in Wisconsin. And then there was the Big Ragu. The Big Ragu ran 5'6", and he was 140 pounds. These were 2 diminutive, like they were miniature Jews who were like supposed to show up in the 50s with the, Lords of Flatbush and go like, "Hey, who wants to rumble?" And they're miniature little guys, miniature little Jews, like in the 50s, we're gonna rumble like with the Jets and the Sharks.
They're lawn statues.
Yes, why? Did they intentionally pick diminutive guys so they couldn't be threatening or something? But yet they were threatening. It was always like Richie Cunningham's gotten pushed up against the corner in the bathroom with the jock, and then all of a sudden the Fonz walks in. But the Fonz was much smaller than Richie.
Yeah.
And the Big Ragu was smaller than Laverne.
That's acting, baby.
Yeah, that's a
Suspend your
script right
disbelief.
there.
You got to
Tough
pick
with the script.
The Big Ragu was 5'7".
Big Ragu. And incidentally, this is kind of one of my pet peeves. Is really the Big Ragu? I mean, has this stopped the sort of casual
5'4"
Italian bashing?
5'3"?
5'3".
Sorry, Paisan, but the Big Ragu.
Was 5'3".
The Big Ragu was smaller than Mama Celeste. 5'3". How do you even get a fucking job as an actor? Is that like a male actor at 5'3"? Like
It's not that short. I mean,
sorry, but wait a minute. What?
You're down into Brad Williams territory there. You gotta be careful.
What? How tall are you, Maxipata?
I'm like 5'4".
You tower
5'4"
over
and a
the
half.
Big Ragu.
Yeah, I look down at him.
He was 5'3".
Chris is the big fa.
Oh my goodness!
Look at that.
Wow.
He looked like a nice Jewish college student who was too small to physically enforce anything on anybody.
And please don't tell me he had an out of place New York accent.
He was the Big
Like-
Ragu.
Of course.
Hey.
Yeah, they were in Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
I think they probably ironically called him the Big Ragu, like you call a fat guy
Tiny.
Stretch or something, but he still was the enforcer. Like when the Big Ragu would show up, the Malachi brothers were like, "Oh my God, the Big Ragu's here! Like we must flee." I don't even know. I can't
Both
remember.
of those shows in Wisconsin, is that
Yeah.
right?
Because it was a spinoff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Right.
That's I guess that's what they thought Italians looked like in Wisconsin.
Mm.
And was the Big Ragu was
that
even
short.
probably Jewish, right? I don't know what that
I'm
guy
sure.
was.
And that was another running thread back in the 70s was Barry Newman played Petrocelli.
Oh, really? Yeah, the
And,
cop show. Yeah.
Del Vecchio was played by the guy who wound up on Taxi. What's his Judd Hirsch.
Yeah.
Del Vecchio.
Hey, you
The
know
Big
what?
Ragu is Italian
Oh, good.
and Armenian.
The funny thing
Armenian.
is
There you go. They couldn't even give it to an Italian.
the
Mexican.
Jews would play Italians and American Indians.
Yep.
That's right.
They had a lot of range, those people. All right, so
Then
the
they
big
wonder why Sly Stallone said, "I'm playing myself." And they went, "No, you can't do that. An Italian can't play an Italian. We've got to find a Jewish kid."
the Big Ragu was 5'3", and I didn't even know what that even meant. All I knew is he was the tough guy
tip
from
of the
Laverne.
cap. They didn't even try to slap him up on some soapboxes or anything. They just let him stand next to a 5'8" girl.
The Apple box.
If you see Henry Winkler in real life, he's a delight and the sweetest man ever, but he's a diminutive guy. He's a very small guy, and the Big Rag. Maybe they had to hire someone who was smaller than the Fonz for when they ran it, like they would say in the John Wayne movies, they would lower the door jam so it looked like he was taller. Maybe that's what they did with the Big Ragu and Fonz. All right.
I just got a shiver up my spine because of being in that network meeting. All right. We got to get a kid shorter than Henry Winkler.
Put on the coffee.
Yeah, we'll hire a 9-year-old. All right. So let's see. We did our.
Oh, no.
Jesus. Please make it stop.
Henry Winkler's 147 pounds. Like right now, Brian, in the condition you're in, you could kick the shit out of the Fonz in his
that's
prime, and the Big Ragu. You could cuckold him as well.
And they're in a gym. Look at that.
The Big Ragu. And there was like tough guys who were standing up to the Malachi brothers. Yeah.
Imagine the director. Look at the tough guys. Look about mid-chest on the tough guy. And that way you look like you're looking him in the eye.
All right, we got some movie titles. So we just go right in that Max Pat. I'll just hop down the bottom. Adam 52, Huntington Beach.
Cafe Americano. And is there any way that Greg Fitzsimmons can have a part in it? Please?
Maybe.
Fitz dog. All right.
Yeah.
How about a kind of Good Morning Vietnam meets Mystic Pizza? I know it's all been done before.
Yeah.
But I mean, how about
to have
this
been done.
guy? He goes over to Vietnam in like 1971. The war ends shortly thereafter. He meets a woman, falls in love, can't bring her back. Ran a bowling alley in Wisconsin. Same as Laverne's dad did back in Laverne and Shirley, decides to bring a coffee house in a bowling alley to Vietnam. Nobody knows bowling. It's not their pastime. They don't even know how to do it, but he teaches them all of bowling and, drinking cocktails. He's bringing this slice of Wisconsin and Americana to Vietnam. Yes.
Maybe the woman he meets and the reason he stays there, maybe she has like a kid. She's a single mom, a young kid. He corrupts her. He corrupts him, kind of like a bad Santa style. You know what I mean? Like teaches, or Buttermaker. You know what I mean? Kind of teaches him the ropes. Here's how life is at the bowling alley.
And I think there's that perfect all is lost moment when he regrets all of it. Somebody at some point comes up to him and says, accept our culture. This is who we are. Stop trying to push this on us. We have a beautiful culture that you don't even recognize. Just get out of here, American. And he thinks this is all for nothing. But there's a surprise party for him, and everybody knows how to bowl.
I think
I like it. And I think Fitzsimmons is the former U.S. Army
He's
MP
the expat.
who didn't know the war was over till about 3 months ago. Came out of a cave. And now he's the wizened guy at the end of the bar who keeps asking for bourbon 3 fingers, and they just have to give him a latte if they don't have any booze.
They and the running joke is all the Vietnamese guys who he's trying to Americanize with the bowling shirts and the Levi's and everything, and they keep screwing up like they would do, like the white cop would do in Sanford and Son. They go, far up, wise turkey. And it's like, no, far out, jive turkey.
Yeah.
Wise turkey. Sure. Like they don't know how to get any of the lingo down, but they're trying. Always good for a laugh. Punch it up, Cesario.
I think that, I'll punch that up. I would start with the automatic scoring is the one area that the Pacific Rim has down cold. It's unbelievable. You can be watching a movie simultaneously with automatically scoring your bowling game. It's incredible. So people start coming to the Cafe Americano for the entertainment that's up on the computer boards.
And one of the kids turns out to be one of the younger people, the son.
Okay.
The son turns out to be an amazing bowler.
Oh, yeah.
He turns out to be better than Chris Hardwick's dad.
Prodigy.
Yeah.
Like that good.
The Tiger Woods of Vietnamese bowling.
By the way, you have a shitty dad when you talk to guys like Chris Hardwick and they explain his dad was a professional bowler, and I'm amazed. I'm like, every time I see him, it's like, tell me more about your dad. We were on the circuit? On the circuit. Oh.
It's like, how do we have no base? We can't go anywhere.
Tell me about
Hardwick
this.
takes on the hardwood of the Scranton Wilkes-Barre lanes this weekend on the PBA.
How about we get Chris Pratt to play the soldier who stays behind? He could handle
Ultimate
that.
All-American guy.
Who's the gal? I'm looking.
Well, that's tough because
it's Aquafina.
Oh, Aquafina, you're right.
She's a huge star.
Isn't she more of the quirky friend? She has such.
No,
she's more
this
of a
is her
character
chance to
actress.
shine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She was nominated for Golden Globe for that movie she was in last year, The Family or whatever it was.
Farewell.
Yeah. Farewell. There you go.
I'm getting several hashtags that were already out of show business. Just trying to
All right, wait a minute. Did I get online free? 3. Hey, Adam.
Tiger Woods of Vietnamese bowling?
Yeah. I think this is going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an easy pitch. All right.
Pratt could open the picture.
All right, let me hop up to the top. I'll go to line 1. Talk to Joe, 41, Seattle. Joe.
Hey, gang. Hey, it's a bit of a callback, for your movie about. Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to say, for your movie about the homeless moving into the office building, how about Bum Rush? Because they're much more efficient in getting the rust off done.
Well,
because they don't have all the
God damn you, Joe.
Right. Right.
Bum Rush,
and part of the C story on Bum Rush is now all of a sudden they become such a successful business that their guys, we show the scene where the guy's like taking his T-shirt and wringing it out and rubbing dirt on his face. And his wife is going, I thought you were going for a job interview. I am at Bum Rush.
Yeah, I got to impress the boss.
They can't. They find out I'm not here. Hold on. Let me plot my pants. Okay. Is this good? Do I look bad? Do I look homeless enough? Right. And he's like parking his Mercedes around the block and sneaking around so they don't see him. Don't see the car outside.
Is there a marginalized, like on the fringes, like lawyer character who's the everyman? He's the Han Solo, right? He's who we see the story through. He's the one who incorporates them. He's the one, you know what I mean? Like you can't do that, blah, blah, blah kind of stuff. Is there
real estate agent? He's the one who gets him the floor.
Yeah, it's got to be there's some proxy for the audience.
He's got to make it work because he's in charge of making that building work for his for the head of his realtor company.
All roads.
They throw him this because they want him out of the realty company. And instead, he makes it a huge success by moving homeless people in. And then they wind up having great businesses. And suddenly, he's making more money than any other realtor in the office.
All roads lead to Henry Winkler. And if you watch Night Shift, he kind of was that guy. He was the pimp accountant who was kind of getting everyone's insurance in order and setting up 401ks. Like, he's that character. If you watch Night Shift, everyone else was kind of insane, and he was the one who was always talking about setting up their retirement.
You need the Rob Reiner character from Wolf of Wall Street.
That's right. All right, sorry, Joe, you got what?
Oh, and I also want to say, just Jeff Cesario, I saw you at Laughs with Ball, Bryan, and you were great. I really love your bit, and of course, thank you for coming out and donating your time too. So I'm glad I got to see you live.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for
Very
coming.
Nice of you to say.
Oh, my pleasure. So
or was that your
movie,
TV pitch? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, for Made Up Movie, this is the second in our trilogy of movies based on Bald Bryan catchphrases. It was over a year ago you were doing Made Up Movie, and I called in with the stirring tribute, and you did like a riff on the compostable straw band in Seattle and stuff. So this is a highly anticipated sequel, oddly specific.
Do I say that a lot?
Oddly specific. Yeah. All right, what do you
part
think?
Part 3 is needlessly elaborate.
Any thoughts?
Yeah.
So the phrase is, what's the phrase?
Oddly specific.
Well, that's the name of the movie.
That's what
right.
that's
the name of the movie. Oddly specific. Okay.
So you know how there's like this whole underground, like well-kept or fairly well-kept secret of cops that go to mediums and psychics when they're trying to deal with a homicide and get but they don't publicize
that's towards
that.
the end. That's pretty far down the line. But
it's hush hush. Nobody talks about it, but we all know it's happening. There's a psychic that they go to that they like, but only for very oddly specific things, because what he can tell you is not, I see a body next to a lake and it's snow on the ground. It's very like the person was thinking of Rocky Road ice cream. They're very oddly specific, but at one point all things come together and all these specific things that don't matter is what cracks the case.
So it's like, wow, there was a Baskin Robbins of the corner opposite he was killed at. So we may have hypothesized that he went in for some ice cream. We got to get the security footage from the Baskin Robbins. Like it's that kind of thinking.
It's not super clear if you don't know what to look for. But the murderer may have had gingivitis. Like, okay.
Can we? Right. All right. Can we make?
Can I just add two words to that? Jeff Goldblum.
Oh,
Jeff Goldblum, perfect. Wonderful. He lives alone. He's in a cluttered apartment. So that guy who's like, I got to find my glasses. They're on your head. He's that guy. Doesn't know, but he's a genius when it comes to this stuff. Unfortunately, he's blind when it comes to finding love.
Yes,
sure.
And that's where Meg Tilly comes in.
He can clean up his own afterlife. He can clean up everybody else's afterlife.
Right. Right.
Wait, which Tilly?
Meg or Jennifer?
Oh.
Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, yeah,
come on.
no. I have an opening in my schedule, and I just wanted to make sure.
Are you done playing blackjack? Are you done playing Texas Hold'em? Can you audition?
Never been with the net in the river, baby.
Hey, Meg, can we just run some lines here?
Yeah, let's do it. This is my audition officially.
Yes, we're going to put it on tape.
Test with Mr. Goldblum.
He's not available for chemistry. He does He doesn't do chemistry tests. He doesn't do auditions. He doesn't do reads. He doesn't do chemistry.
I'm a
chemistry
gal
tests.
who's up for anything. I'll do it.
You have to submit. You have to make an offer. He's making offer only. But you are working at the coffee house that he frequents. He can't cook.
Okay.
He'll start a fire in his apartment trying to.
Right.
And he comes in every morning, 8 a.m., not a minute past 8 a.m., and orders 2 basted eggs. And it's very specific.
Oddly
it's 2
specific.
basted eggs and 2 basted eggs, a pumpernickel, dry, and plain black coffee. So this is your first meeting where you come in and deliver his breakfast.
Okay, and who?
I'll play Jeff Goldblum.
Okay. Well, hello there, sir. I have your very, very odd order. Is this something that you always order, or is this just something you wanted, a little message you're sending to me?
Well, you're new. I haven't met you before.
Oh, no, I just started here. My name's Shireen, and it's really nice to meet you. Are you a regular?
I would say I have 2 basted eggs, pumpernickel dry, and black coffee. I hope that's what's on your tray.
I have 2 pumpernickels basted, 1
Hey,
burnt egg.
Meg, this is the
and-
casting director now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not I'm looking at the script. It's not pumpernickels basted. It's 2 eggs basted, dry pumpernickel, and black coffee.
Hang on, that's a great punch-up, though.
Let's just pick that one up.
That's what the writer says from the back of the room.
Let's
That's funnier than what we wrote.
Oh, Jennifer, sorry, I was calling you Meg. I get confused with your sister.
Jeff, you're getting confused from the Big Chill when you start with her sister, Meg Tilly.
Sorry, I'm not Jeff. I'm just a casting director. But yeah, let's try it again.
Okay.
Just give me the menu item, please. Let's see if we can get that down. Get a clean take on that.
And 3, 2. Here you go, sir. Here are your 2 eggs, your pumpernickel, and your basted black coffee.
Yeah. Hold on. This is, I'm just going to break down the fourth wall here. It's 2 eggs basted, dry pumpernickel, and black coffee. We just get.
Actually, we like that punch-up, too.
Yeah.
We keep all of that.
Cesario.
That too.
If I had a vote, you wouldn't be in this room. So just.
Is the writer allowed on the set?
Not anymore.
Let's just try and get a clean one of those.
I'll do
Sorry.
it.
It's very specific, but it's important to the character because the character is so specific.
Well, sorry, it's much easier to go when you say action.
And action.
Oddly specific, scene 52, take 5.
Here we go.
Hello, sir. I have your order right here. 2 eggs, a pumpernickel, and a turkey baster.
All right. I think we can clean that up in post.
You think you got what you needed?
We can dig that one out. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the blow. Turkey baster. We're out of the scene.
Do you have quiet, Cesario? Do you have Meg's number?
Oh, we're very close. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, just go
Do you
ahead.
need it for something?
Yeah, another project.
Oh.
But a lot of the script's the same.
Filming concurrently.
Yeah. I'll text that right over to you.
Uh-huh. Do you have problems? Would you go to Canada to do a film?
Oh, I love our neighbors to the north.
And do you think Meg would have a problem going to Canada?
I don't see why she'd have a problem.
Okay.
Well, is there a message you'd like me specifically to pass on?
No. Why don't you go to Prague and then we'll go to Canada?
Ooh, exotic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll meet you in Prague.
Well, there'll be somebody there.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Just
I'll
drop
tell
off
Meg.
Meg's number. Thank you.
Turkey baster, that's funny.
Yeah.
Good writing, you guys.
Yeah. Get the sides to Meg. Joe?
That was beautiful. It is not. I couldn't have seen that coming, but perfect.
That was a good. Call. Gina Grad made that. I never even thought about that genre. That was a good call. Thanks, Joe. Last but not least, let's talk to Felix, 29, Pasadena, Texas. There you go.
Oh.
Pasadena.
Hi, how's it going? Hey,
Good.
Adam.
Hey, where is Pasadena, Texas?
It's right dab smack in the middle of the state. It's not that great of a place. In fact, I'm trying to move pretty soon. But I was curious, what's your relationship like with Triumph the Insult comic dog?
Pretty good, I guess. I hadn't seen him since the Alec Baldwin roast.
Oh,
Why?
really?
What do you know?
Oh, no. I had an idea for kind of a good cop, bad cop. I just finished seeing No Safe Spaces.
Oh, thanks.
So I kind of had this idea for Adam.
Well, hold on. The way the game is played, Felix, the dog, is you're supposed to just shout out the name of your movie, and then we'll build around the title.
Oh, okay. So it's a movie with you and Triumph.
Okay. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. There's a lot. I feel like I do a fair bit of explaining the rules to people about what we're doing, and then they just go right back to whatever it is they were doing.
Yeah,
which
right
is
back to
interesting.
He looks in a lane.
I think his movie is called Dog Day, which they already made it. I mean, there's Dog Day
I
afternoon.
don't think you understand. His pitch is oddly specific.
Very specific.
Well done.
But I do like Triumph. Yes.
Wouldn't it be sort of a Island of Dr. Moreau meets Freaky Friday? So it's basically just a Freaky Friday reboot, but the dog and the dog's owner think the other one has the best life.
Yeah.
He gets to go out all day and see exciting things and smell exciting things and eat whatever he wants. And the dog just gets to lay there and he's living in the lap of luxury. I wish I could change places for just one day.
Yeah, I was thinking a good body switch comedy is long overdue.
Yes.
Yeah. And I can get to Tim Allen. I know guys who know Tim Allen. That's
The
right.
head of Sony. A good body switch comedy is long overdue.
It's true.
We do need a voice for the dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man.
Well, let's see. Of course, we get in the Black Labs Matter joke because it's super timely. We work that in. We'll see if we can get, I don't know. We're not going to get Chris Rock, but he has a brother, right?
Uh-huh.
We'll get
Tony
him.
Rock.
Tony Rock.
Yeah.
We'll get Tony Rock to play the Black
Great
Lab.
comic.
Yeah, well, there you go. We're looking for talent here. We can talk to Felix. Felix?
That's a mistake.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah, hey.
I have a title. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. I feel like we've dedicated enough time to your title already.
No. The movie would star you and Triumph, and the title would be the Peanut Butter Trick.
Okay. All right. All right.
Aren't you glad what did we learn, Adam?
Whenever
I'll tell you what we learned.
Sometimes jokes don't work.
it's like, I was making fun. I was making fun of Mike Stromat, my old mean foreman. But I do remember something very specific that I thought was very interesting or smart that he did. But it's going to come full circle in terms of your answer in humanity, which is we were building the Pier 1 imports on Wilshire in I don't know, 26 or something.
Yeah, it's in East Santa Monica.
Yeah. So we were building that building back in the day. I was kind of a grunt. I wasn't staring at plans or anything, but that was built in probably the mid-'80s, and I was riding my motorcycle there from North Hollywood and working all day. And Stromat was kind of a douche, but after the job, Santa Monica, circa 1985, a hobo, came up to him, and we were it was 3:30, we're knocking off. He was by his truck kind of thing. And this guy just came up to him and he said, can you loan me $5, man? I need it bad or whatever the amount was, probably $5, but $5 was good money. That was good for dinner back then. And Mike said to the guy, he goes, the guy was like, I'll come back tomorrow and return it to you. I just need it to get gas or something, whatever it was. And Mike said, I will give you this $5. But if you don't come back tomorrow and give it back like you say you're going to, I will never, ever give any homeless person or down and out or anyone who comes up there and tells me a story about their kids needing this or that, and they're going to return it, whatever. I will never give them another penny, and that'll be on you. And the guy goes, fine, I'll see you tomorrow. And I never saw that fucker again, and neither did Mike. And that's how all the world works. It all works with you going, okay, but here's what's going to happen, and here's what I want, and then it just happens every time. And I guess it's Mike's fault for giving him the $5. Although I remember standing there going, that's a good angle. Put the onus on this guy.
Yep.
Never came back.
Whip it up. We're going to call it the peanut butter trick. Get it into development.
That's what I just did when I went back to Felix.
Yeah.
I went back. I believed, and that was the problem. All right, Dawson, take us out.
Adam Carolla will return in Made Up Movie Part 2.
All right, let me hit liquid IV. Dehydration occurs daily in so many people, 3 out of 4, as a matter of fact. I take liquid IV all the time, especially, like I said, when I travel, especially if I'm getting in the race car. And there's 2 good times to take it. I chug a bottle of it in the morning before I go get into the race car because I sweat right through that fire suit. But you go out that night and have a few cocktails, have a little in you before you go to bed. Makes the next morning much better. Stuff tastes good. It's fast. It's effective. You stay hydrated. Each serving helps you get as much hydration as 2 to 3 bottles of water, 5 essential vitamins, more vitamin C than an orange, as much potassium as a banana. It's easy to travel with. It comes in these little sort of tube packets, and it mixes up easy in your water bottle. No artificial flavors or preservatives, less sugar than an apple, non-GMO. Gluten-free, vegan, dairy, and soy-free. It's Liquid IV, right, Dawson?
Liquid IV is available nationwide at Costco and Target, or you get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com. You can use code ADAM at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use promo code ADAM at liquidiv.com. Get better hydration today at liquidiv.com. Promo code ADAM.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll do Chet Waterhouse. I want to hear about Bryan's Mystic Vacation, and we'll do that right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam. Rich here from Virginia. I was doing a little surfing the other night on the internet and came across something about William Holden, the actor. Died when he banged his head at his home drunk, passed out and bled to death, which is sad news, of course. But what I thought was funny and reminded me of you was his burial, the Neptune Society. Only other person I've ever heard of. Keep it real. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah, everyone in my family is a member of the Neptune Society, and if you're an atheist and you're cheap and the Carollas can check both those boxes twice, that means you give these guys like $40, and whenever you die, the dude in the station wagon just shows up, takes you out, cremates you, and throws you in the ocean.
Are you cool with that for you?
I would. Well, here's what I would probably like. First off, I can tell you right now, Jimmy Kimmel, who will probably outlive me, would never abide by that. I mean, one time, me, Danny Two Sheets, and Jimmy were sitting in our office at the Man Show, and it was like, I remember Daniel Kelson. He went, do we need to get each other Christmas gifts every year? Like, we buy each other like golf carts and shit like that, like rich guy Hollywood stuff. Like, maybe I just give, I don't know, like, it's such a hassle trying to finding a great gift for Jimmy is tough because he has everything and you can't just get him a gift certificate or something. And Jimmy just went, fuck that. We're getting everyone gifts. Like,
man of principle.
Jimmy's like, I'm getting you a fucking cool gift every single year. And if you don't want to give me one, then don't give me one. But that's what I'm doing for you. And so, like, whenever you'd say to Jimmy, like, let's just skip the whatever, don't whatever, he'd go, no, we're doing it. Like, I was, any event, anything. So Jimmy would not abide by me or almost anyone else dying and just silently going out and being dumped in the ocean like the Neptune Society does. But the Carollas would definitely do it. And the thing that's funny about the Neptune Society is for an extra $40, you can be on the barge while they scatter the ashes over the open sea and throw the rose petals down. We didn't even buy in for that.
Oh, boy.
It was like literally you die, they pick you up. That is the end. There's no anything after that.
No pomp, no circumstance.
What is a Neptune Society run now? Now, see, you got to understand, like when my grandparents signed up in, 1972, it was like $18. It was like,
73.
Yeah.
It was founded in 73, so they probably
73.
got in the ground floor.
Yeah. They're
charter members.
Yeah.
Charter members, yeah.
Jupiter Society.
I really don't even know the legality of it because my grandfather passed at like 4 a.m. or something, and I got one of those middle of the night phone calls from my grandma, like your grandfather's dead, come to the house. And I got there at like 5:15 or something, and there was just a plainclothes dude with his mom's station wagon just carrying grandpa out. It's not, there was no coroner or anything. It was like pronouncing the time or the death or anything. Just carried him out, put him in the back of the wagon. Wow. The wagon was Quincy-esque. It wasn't marked. It was just a station wagon, and they left, and that's the last we seen of them.
Yeah, I wonder if they're updated to like logoed vehicles.
And don't they have? There's got to be some protocol, right? I mean, there probably was some then, but we weren't aware of it. They just carted him out.
I know there's a mortuary in Long Beach, and I don't know if this is common or not, but if nobody's come to claim the body in a certain amount of time, somebody will volunteer, a sailor of sorts will volunteer to take it out and have it cremated and tossed in the ocean. So I don't know.
A sailor of sorts?
Sailor of sorts.
whatever they do.
They're pretty much just burglars. They're just stealing dead people is all you're talking about.
So basically I'm saying some people do it for free.
Yeah, so they cremate you and then they scatter you over the open sea, and but again, it's extra to keep wanting to go out. That was turned into
I'm sure they cremate you. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't just let seagulls eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in
a suit bag.
It was a Crank Yankers Bircham bit where he called one of those places and they were like, yeah, we can arrange all this stuff. And then he kept going, and then I can fish, right? And they're like, no, you cannot fish. Well, I'll just bring my tackle out. No. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Do you sell bait though? And they're like, no, you can't do it. He just kept going because it was based really on a funny bit from the Acme Theater a million years ago. Always, I don't know. I haven't done it in a while, but it always cracked me up. I love Cesario. I'm doing this for you.
All right.
There was a guy who was a really funny writer that I met many years ago at the Acme Theater. And his name was John McCann. And he was just a brilliant writer. And his bit, and I always love it when they work it out, his bit was the audience in the theater was attending a seminar. So at first, so you're addressing the audience, but you have a reason to address the audience. And it was Skipper Ned Heem's adventure burials. So he would start by thanking everyone for showing up to his symposium, and then he would pitch his adventure burials. And the thing was, he'd go like, you're going to go out there, you're going to shed some tears, you're going to grieve, but after that, we're going sport fishing. And he started getting into these details that always made me laugh my ass off. I think his boat was called the Ash Taxi, and I think he had his first mate Gus. His first mate Gus was a defrocked Jesuit who was capable of reciting words of comfort in the 3 major religions. And if you're an atheist, he'll tell you a joke about God. Like that was his thing. And he'd go, while I'm top, he'd go, well, Gus is down below playing Chariots of Fire on the hornpipes. I'll be topside looking out for Record School of Perch and Bonita. And then he kept doing this juxtaposition between the funeral and the fishing. He'll go, Gus'll dry your tears, adjust your tackle, and rig your drag line, and he doesn't have to be told twice to crack you a cold one. He'll dry your tears, adjust your drag line, and he doesn't have to be told twice to crack you a cold one. It always cracked. The bit
you
was.
Remember it?
It was so funny that I would always just stand at the wings and watch him do the bit while he was down below playing Chariots of Fire on the hornpipes. He'll be upside. Everything was just this constant contrast between sport fishing and funerals, and it just was such a funny ass bit.
That is full blown Fred Willard conceptual. That's
right.
That's out there in Albert Brooks territory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's so great.
Yeah, Skipper Ned Heeman. He would go, was that loved one who died really loved one, or maybe just a business partner died to own you money? In that case, you may want to opt for a chum slick of remembrance, bringing up Shark and Mako. Like, it got bizarre. I don't even know the audience knew what to do with it. It seems so bizarre. So how much is do we know how much it is, or they don't
say on the site, but they just say like, oh, we're a third of the cost of a funeral, and then somewhere on Reddit they said in Houston it costs $1,000. So
they just pick you up.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, what were we doing? Oh, Bryan. Yeah. What were we doing?
You want to do me or Chet?
Yeah, let's do you first, then we'll do Chet.
So yeah, our week, Jeff, just so you know, we were a dark week last week. We all did various things. Adam, you know, for the last, it's got to be like 7 years now, Christy and I have gone to Hawaii, and that's obviously off the table this year. Hawaii, with their mandatory quarantine, everything was just so up in the air, wouldn't have made sense to make plans or go there. So Christy suggested something that I would never have even thought of. I kind of was aware of these things, but never really considered going to one. She goes, how about we go to a wellness retreat? Because, you know, you're going through, you know, your treatment, you'll have just finished, I'm everything's on her shoulders. You know, why don't we just go away for a week to one of these wellness retreats? And, they're supposed to, pick you up spiritually and physically and emotionally and mentally and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, that's a fun idea. So we found a place in Sedona, Arizona, of all places. And we,
well, that's where you'd find it.
Yeah. There are a few in California, but we opted for this one. It felt very remote. It was, Chris has some pictures. Chris and Caitlin. It's amongst the Red Rocks in Arizona, and it's very remote, very small. I think there was like 8 rooms. Mm-hmm. So, and of course they're a wellness, retreat or whatever it is. So like they're very dedicated to sanitizing everything and keeping people apart. And it was like, this sounds perfect. This is exactly what we need. A little rest and relaxation, off the grid. That's, you're looking at a picture. They have a crystal grotto for like meditation where the sun comes in. You can see the sunbeams coming in from a skylight in the roof. But that's the actual like red clay dirt that it's built upon. There's no flooring. You just walk barefoot on the dirt and you meditate and do whatever. It's pretty woo-woo. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. We booked a 7-day, stay, obviously. They call it a journey. And it was pretty awesome. I got my chakras aligned, which I'd never done before. Energy reading, energy clearing, Reiki healing. I'd never done any of this stuff before. And it was very, it coincided with me finishing my medication, my round of medication. And of course, you're looking there at the spectacular pool that no one was at. We were some of the only people there most of the time. Midweek, you can imagine, isn't quite as popular as the weekends. But yeah, it was very spiritually like fulfilling. I felt very fulfilled. Coincidentally, I finished my medication a few days before we left. So I was feeling great by the middle of the week. And I was getting all these treatments, like I said, the chakras and then the Reiki and all this stuff. I don't know if you guys, Gina, maybe you've done that before. I don't know if anyone else here has.
Let me say this. All the stuff you make fun of, we make fun of, or one makes fun of, when you do it, it's nice. Like, when the guys or the girls burning the sage and running the fingers along the whatever and lining up the whatever, like as much smoke and hokum as it may sound like, it's still nice to be on the sort of the person laying on the table in the towel when that shit's going down.
You're 100%. It's like if it's real to you, you know what I mean? Like I felt very at ease and very sad. They did the smudging with the sage, with the burning of the sage. It felt amazing, and it was real to me. I felt great.
Right.
Did you drive or fly?
We drove. Took 6.5 hours out there, 8 hours back. There was a lot of Sunday traffic coming back.
And
yeah, that's awesome.
All I ever think of is like, what are you eating? Where's the bar? Like, how's that work?
Well, that's funny you mention that because it is all inclusive. So they have Chris showed you a picture of the juice. They had a fresh pressed juice bar that you could just get juice anytime you want, or smoothies or cocktails. It was, the cocktails you had to pay for, but everything else, all the food, all the snacks, all the they just bring you stuff at the pool or whatever, and it was pretty great. You really felt taken care of, and the best part. ended up being. I mean, all the amenities are nice, the room and the pool and the food and the drinks. I really got a lot out of like the healing stuff. Like I felt great. And maybe it was coincidental with the fact that I was just off my meds and I was starting to rebound anyway, but couldn't have come at a better time.
Well, and you can't not feel good in that environment. I mean, that's why we literally just drove to Ventura for a day. Just being stuck in LA amid all this stuff, and all of a sudden you're transported to what feels like another planet, but it's also a resort. Of course, you're just going to feel like that cloud is being lifted. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just did peyote.
Getting off.
Worked just as well.
Social media and just people don't realize how easy it is to sort of snap back by just getting a massage while something smells good, is burning, and and there's some mandolin music in the distance.
And they're asking you to focus on your breathing and think about things you want to release, and it's spiritual.
So back to the food. How did the food work?
Food was much better than I anticipated. When I heard food's included, I'm like, oh boy. And then the restaurant there is called like the Cafe. I'm like, oh fuck, we're gonna have to go somewhere else. It was really, really good. I liked it. It was a very limited menu, but it was all good stuff. Like a filet, shrimp, scallops, chicken, salad. It was all healthy. It's a health retreat.
Is this a, trying to think, like there's a kind of a different levels of this stuff. There's the no booze, no animal protein, no TV version, and then there's the flat panel TV, and you could get a cocktail version, I guess. Was this one, was there a TV in the room?
There was. We never once turned it on.
Good.
This isn't one. This wasn't like Super Granola unplug off the grid. Like it's I guess it's they take care of you for sure. But the food was very. It's exactly what you want out of a place like this, which isn't weird and like tofu and weird off the stuff you wouldn't normally see on a normal menu. This was like really well done versions of just stuff you'd see on a normal American restaurant menu.
Did you have a chance to go to any of the vortexes?
So the whole thing is there's vortices. It's all vortices there. The trees grow in a sort of a spiral shape, which is very weird. I didn't go outside the resort. Christy went on a couple of hikes, but the resort is supposedly, in one of the vortices, and so you could, I suppose you could feel the energy.
What direction does the toilet flush in? Because I'm going to solve this vortex problem.
Felt normal to me.
Okay. No, I'm the atheist who seems like I'd be dead set against this kind of stuff. I'm completely into this stuff. I mean, I don't do it, but I understand I understand the benefit of it. I understand, especially in today's climate, of just carving out a few days, laying down, not turning the TV on, staying off social media, getting your chakras aligned,
quieting your mind,
whatever that means, and drinking a little fresh pressed juice for breakfast. How cost prohibitive is it, or is it?
It is. So thankfully, they reduced the price significantly because of COVID. They were, limiting some of their treatments or whatever. Some didn't really interest me anyway, so it was neither here nor there. But it's expensive. It was probably the most expensive vacation we've taken because every year Hawaii is on fucking points. We fly for free, we stay for free. We paid for this one.
What was the temperature like?
Mid-90s. It was lovely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it more than $10,000 for 7 days?
Depends. The base price is much less than that, but every time you want to do one of the Reiki treatments or one of the massages or one of the energy healings, that's money on top, and it adds up. But you can get away for much less than what you quoted.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm intrigued and get there and.
It was cool, man. You and I are on the same page. Like, this is not something I seek out and I'm like, oh, I got to get my energy cleared or whatever. But when in Rome, so to speak, it's like, this feels good. This is right.
Well, I think the problem is a lot of the people on both ends misinterpret what's happening, which is the people that are selling it are sort of grafting on these mythical properties. And then the people that are pushing against it going, I don't need to speak to any invisible chakra to feel good about myself. But what you don't realize is it's not either. It's literally being quiet, being with yourself, sometimes just repeating things or breathing or saying things out loud while someone's putting their hands on you and burning something and you're smelling something and you're feeling something, and it just changes you. Not for any, I've always said it about Buddhism. I was like, I don't buy into Buddhism, but if you want to, if you have a goal and you want to chant on it every day for 20 minutes, you'll probably reach the goal faster. Yeah. How could it hurt? Yeah, what could the harm be? All right, let me hit LifeLock, and then we'll do Chet Waterhouse. Fraudsters out there, they're sending messages through social media and emails with a Cash App scam. The messages offer free money via the app. Help during this difficult time. Do not. These people are the worst. They figure out when you're down and they kick you, man. It's important to understand how cybercrime and identity theft are affecting our lives. Every day we put our info at risk on the internet. You could miss certain identity threats if you're just monitoring your credit. LifeLock detects a wide range of identity threats, like your social security number for sale on the dark web. If you have they have dedicated restoration specialists who will work on your case if you become a victim, but you won't if you get LifeLock, right, Dawson?
No, to prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. LifeLock can see threats you might miss on your own. Join now and save up to 25% off your first year by using promo code Adam. Call 1-800-LifeLock or head to lifelock.com. Use promo code Adam for 25% off.
All right, should we do a little Chet Waterhouse?
The sports with Chet Waterhouse.
Oh, brother! Time for the Waterhouse update, brought to you by Hopscotch, the scotch that brings out the kid in you. America's pastime. No, not creating a fake federal breathing agency. Baseball. Will it continue? Tension thicker than tear gas at the Portland post office. St. Louis Cardinals, so many COVID cases, they've dropped behind old folks' homes in the standings. Ouch, that's gotta sting. Astros in Oakland got booed by a cardboard cutout. Jose Altuve went into the stands after the cutout, but got a bad paper cut. Had to be rushed to Oakland's up-to-no-good medical center. That wrap-up sponsored by Spineapple Juice. Drink away bad posture with Spineapple Juice. NBA leading the Truman Show bubble season with a 5-0 record, the Phoenix Suns. So COVID or no COVID, the NBA is probably going to shut this whole thing down. Ultimate Fighting to avoid any shutdown threats. Dana White announced UFC 264 will be held in a C-130 troop transport flying in the eye of a hurricane. That item sponsored by I'm Not a Fan, the portable fan that's as soft as a judgmental whisper. Golf. Colin Morikawa runs away with the PGA Championship. Kid was harder to catch than free porn on a motel TV. Biker rally. Sturgis, South Dakota, hosting 250,000 bikers. Almost none wore masks, but every bar served free Clorox shots. And finally, this week in sports history, the year 1975, the place Akron, Ohio, Jack Nicklaus won his 4th PGA crown over Australian Bruce Crampton. Said Crampton, I cramped up. This Waterhouse update brought to you by Susan Rice for Vice President. Oh, wait, scratch that. Let me find a new. Here we go. Frenzy, the app that finds you way too many friends. If you want more of me this weekend, a legit gig. I'm doing play-by-play on the Starburn Sports simulcast of ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Join me and my color man, Tommy Ginch Henderson, as the Red Sox take on the Yankees. Sponsored by McStiffins, fully hardened Irish oatmeal. This is Chet Waterhouse reminding you to play with pain.
Chet Waterhouse, sports.
Chet Waterhouse, always the best.
Pineapple juice.
I like the pineapple juice. I like the hopscotch one. Man, nice.
Frenzy.
What was I thinking is the name of the stand-up special? Pandora, Spotify's where you can get it. The podcast, Play with Pain, with Chet Waterhouse, available on Apple Podcasts. Well, the website, Jeff Cesario, the medium Ragu, jeffcesario.com. The big Ragu, 5'3", everybody. Jeff Cesario. Jeff, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, my friend.
Guys.
Always funny. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the news right after this.
Give me the news with Grad. News with Gina Grad. Breaking viral, all those crazy Trump tweets. Give me news with Gina Grad. Trouble in the Middle East. Celebrity drunk meltdowns. Need news with Gina Grad.
The news with Gina Grad.
So we all know by now, but just to give a brief update, because it did sort of break into the middle of the show, the Secret Service update from having Trump step off the stage in the middle of his briefing. According to a tweet by the Secret Service, an officer-involved shooting at 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue happened. An official told ABC News that a suspect fired at a non-White House employee and was hit by gunfire from an ununiformed Secret Service officer. Male suspect was taken in an ambulance to a hospital in critical condition with a gunshot wound in the upper body. And because we didn't get to see it at the time, here's what it looked like when they asked Trump to please come with them.
It was anticlimactic.
Excuse me?
Walks right out of the room. And you know what surprised me, and maybe it shouldn't, I don't know, but all the ththings you hear about him, didn't he seem sort of like refreshingly compliant? Like, oh, I guess we're leaving. Like there was no back talk or like, well, what do you think you're doing? And don't you know who I am? He's like, oh, it's time to go.
Yeah, felt I
like that.
Yeah, felt compliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
He felt malleable for a change.
That's where the bar's at.
Yeah, compliant. Yeah, I mean, it seemed, I don't know, it seemed reasonable. Like the guy said, hey, we got to go. And he went, oh, okay. He just walked off.
So that's just a little footnote to the breaking news. Someone has a vaccine. It's not us, and we're not sure. We don't have any efficacy yet, but Russia claims to have won the worldwide race to create a COVID-19 vaccine. Despite international skepticism, Russia became the first country to register a coronavirus vaccine and declare it ready for use, even though it has yet to begin phase 3 trials, which could take months. Russian President Vladimir Putin insisted that the vaccine has gone through all the necessary tests and that he's already given the vaccine to one of his daughters, an adult woman who's feeling well, has a high number of antibodies. Putin says that doctors, medical workers, teachers, and higher risk groups will be the first to receive the vaccine and will likely begin widespread vaccination in September.
I was looking at the So first off, sadly, everything out of Russia comes with a question mark or an asterisk or something, like who knows? That's the problem. The problem is maybe they're lying and maybe they're not lying. I don't know. This is the problem when you lie. You create this aura that you don't have around countries and nations that don't lie frequently. So again, if this was coming out of Canada, we'd all be chilling the champagne tonight. Right. Now it's like, we'll wait and see. I was telling you guys, I think, was I saying, was I talking about the 7.7 billion people and that we're not to 1 million deaths worldwide yet? Was I saying that? Mm-mm. Yeah, August said, don't say that into a microphone. But I was like, I was looking it up today. It's like 7.7 billion on the planet, and we're at 730 something thousand dead worldwide, which is, a high number, but compared to 7.7 billion, I don't know. It doesn't feel as scary to me as it feels to everyone else.
So are you saying it's not a grim milestone?
I'm saying if you're making a movie about a pandemic and you couldn't crack 1 million deaths, most of them elderly, by the way, on the goddamn planet versus 7.7 billion, it's just, you wouldn't see that movie. You wouldn't buy the ticket. It wouldn't be scary enough for you. And then everyone will go, all the dicks always go, oh, tell it to the people that are dead. Well, first off, I can't tell it to the people that are dead. They're already dead. They're in the Neptune Society with Nana and Pappy. But also, look, there's no guarantees on this planet. Shit happens. A fucking meteor could hit. Who the fuck knows? World wars break out at the wrong time. If you're a male and you're turning 18 and a world war breaks out, that is just bad timing. You think about all those people and all that timing. You hear about those guys and they're like, it's like my dad was like too young for World War II and too old for Vietnam.
Wow.
Like if you get the timing, and I like to add too big a puss for Korea, but that's just
It's
me.
implied. It's implied.
I'm just grafting that on. That could be my own feelings. But the point is, or you could be his older brother who was, Ralph, who was 4 or 5 years older, who ended up being right in the middle of the island hopping Japanese campaign, the Pacific campaign, and being buried alive when a mortar went off next to his Browning 50 caliber machine gun. Like, it's just bad luck. There's a timing part of this. And I'd rather be around for a pandemic, especially ones that had these kinds of numbers. 7.7 billion versus not quite 740,000 dead worldwide. I don't know. You guys can all be freaked out. These kind of numbers are not freak out numbers to me. This isn't lock yourself in and never come out numbers for me. Say the population max bet is 7.59, so 7.6 billion. I read 7.7 today. Well, anyway, hey, who knows how many Chinese fucked since the time I
started talking.
Anyway,
the census is notoriously unreliable over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared because the last I kind of checked in about the population of the planet, it was 6 billion. That's another 1.5 billion people crowding around here. We are going to run out of supplies.
Well, the more they do, the more they do. I mean, it just grows that much faster. But
the World Bank said 7.6. The last official tally was in 2018, but now it's estimated at 7.8.
7.8.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't like it.
All right. Well, we're not at 1 million deaths worldwide yet. So, to me, optimistic numbers, I would say. So the cure for me is like good. I'd like to do it just to kind of get back to it, but I'm not holding my breath.
Well, there are people that are better people than us who auction off items to help humanity. Adam, I know you've given time. You've let people come tour the studios and things for auction. That's lovely. But when's the last time you did so many pornos that you became a star and auctioned off your signature glasses? I'm waiting for an answer.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mia Khalifa.
No.
You might when you see her.
Oh,
the song from Fast and Furious?
Yeah, no, she has a brother in the gay porn business called Jiz Khalifa. He's one of the most popular bottoms out there.
Funny.
But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Former porn star Mia Khalifa is auctioning her infamous glasses, apparently, that she always wears to help victims of the catastrophic blast in Beirut, saying she's trying to make a positive difference as her native Lebanon continues to recover 1 week later. This, according to the New York Post. The top bid for the iconic glasses, as of me reading this right now, is, any guesses, for glasses?
I got to tell you, if I was in porn, I would be just like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in his playing days with those sport goggles, you know what I mean? Strap, not even sunglasses. I'm talking elastic strap, like
Eric Dickerson. Yeah.
It'd take a lot more than a stiff wind to get those babies off me. I'd tell everyone their prescription. I'd have a note from my doctor. That's how I would enter. The
That'd be
business.
your thing.
And
Yeah.
and Gina, take this in the spirit in which it's intended, but if you got into porn, it would be bullet dodged for you because, well, let me explain why.
Please do.
You have a prodigious rack, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Right. So you would avoid the retinal
face,
detaching.
yeah.
And
Because that's not where the money is.
the money is, green is for the money and gold is for the honey. Yeah. So it easy cleanup. Not
you don't have to tell me.
No pink. Yeah, right. I'm speaking to the choir here, but no pink eye.
Right.
None of that.
Yep,
None of the
conjunctivitis.
baggage that comes along with the B cup.
No rinsing.
That's all
Absolutely.
I'm saying.
Thank
no
you.
problemo.
No, you've given me a lot to think about during
Well,
when
a lot
when
to be
employment
grateful
is
for.
slow.
A lot to be grateful for.
Thank you.
Next time you're complaining about not being able to jog, just think about the poor B cups in porn.
You're absolutely right. They do take a beating.
Thank you.
So as of right now, the glasses, the bid right now is at $100,000.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you a little video of her
Is
talking
she
about.
big internationally? Like, is she
Bryan, please. Nobody's buying it.
I don't know the name either, but
I'd like to know more about this actress.
Well, let's let her talk about it herself. Here you go.
Next
She's showing off the
Mia
goods.
Khalifa.
Showing off her pink dress.
Auction.
Okay, now that the algorithm thinks that this is for white TikTok, I just want to let you guys know that there is a humanitarian crisis in Lebanon right now, and they need our help because their government is corrupt and not doing anything about it. So I'm doing what I can, and what I can do is auction off the original Mia Khalifa glasses, which are on eBay right now, and the bidding is at about $50,000, I believe. So head to the link in my bio. Let's raise some money for the Red Cross in Lebanon. Every single penny is going to them.
Wow.
Cute.
She's cute. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar auctioned off game-worn goggles. When he says game, oh, he means a regular game, right?
Yeah.
NBA game.
What'd he fetch?
A click over $12,000.
Yeah. Cute. That's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. Doesn't move the needle.
No.
Wow. So she's over $100,000.
Mhm.
I got to tell you, generally with my porn stars, like, see how to describe this. You know how I love vintage racing?
Sure. Okay. So you're more of an on golden blonde guy.
Yeah, I'm more like, wait a minute, didn't I go to high school with that chick? And then I
And chances are you did.
look up her body of work. Like, yeah, I'm the guy who finished racing a 71 Datsun 510, got home and watched a Love Boat episode from 1979. So you can sort of see what camp I'm in, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Throwback.
Mm-hmm. Old school. Sorry.
So au naturel. Au naturel?
Yeah, I've never been
You can groom yourself, ladies.
I've not. I've never the work done. I was never a fan of that. And Playboy kind of
No, I'm not
jumped.
talking about that.
You're talking about. You're not talking
Downstairs.
about. Oh, sorry. You're not talking about boob jobs or any of that stuff. The thing about the porn and the vagine for me is when it looks work. I think so. For whether you're talking about men's hair, John Travolta, if you're listening, or you're talking about women getting work done, or even when you're talking about when you see one of the guys. I deal with all these guys who do really high-end custom cars, right? And when you look at a car that they have done, the best thing they'll hear is like, "Oh, was the bumper this way?" Like, and then they go, "No, we shaved it all down and we brought it in." And then someone will go, "Oh, why didn't the factory do it this way? Like, it looks so much better, like the way you're doing it." But you can't exactly tell what they've done. All you know is the product is better, but you can't walk right to it and point at stuff and go, "Oh, I see what you did here." And I feel that way with the Snatch. I feel that go ahead and make it look natural, but clean it up a little bit. But I don't want to know. I don't want to see the sharp lines, like it's sort of like the male body of the guy where they go, "Oh, that guy's in great shape because he swims all the time," versus he's on roids.
Right.
That look,
makes
the
sense.
synthetic look versus a natural look.
And you just hit the nail on the head why I didn't have my nostrils done when I had my nose job. For that reason specifically.
You can have nostrils done? Oh, yeah?
Because the nostrils pinned back
Oh,
is
yeah.
a dead giveaway.
Yeah, I agree.
So I said, just leave as is, just shape her up. Let's get to it.
I'm telling you, when I got my lawn done, it's different than your grill, but the lawn, if you get the Kelly green stuff and just put it all, it just looks like a miniature golf course. You have to
Looks
take
like
the one.
Brady lawn.
They have stuff that's like California grass. It's got little speckles of dead grass in it, little gray around the temple. Looks so realistic when you put it in.
one yellow strand for every 50, green strands.
Yeah, whatever the ratio is, it makes this perfect sort of natural look. All right, sorry, where were we?
We can all agree.
We can all agree.
So tough transition, but Hasbro has removed a Trolls doll from stores after people complained that it was sexually inappropriate. So Trolls are big right now, apparently, and there's a Poppy, I guess, is the star of one of the Trolls movies, and I think it's Anna Kendrick's character. The move comes online after an online petition which gathered 300,000 signatures calling to pull Trolls World Tour Giggle and Sing Poppy. Why?
What offenses are committed?
Why don't you throw the picture up, Kaylin, and you'll see why. So in between Poppy's legs, there's a button, and if you push it, she giggles and goes like, "Ooh."
Well, that's what happens if you push the tape.
That is weird.
But now Hasbro has thoughts about this and said that is not what it's for. It's supposed to be when she sits down, she makes a noise. And she giggles. But the feature was designed to react when the doll was seated, but we recognize the placement of the sensor may be perceived as inappropriate.
It's tainty.
So it's a little tainted.
It's right in between the legs, right at the bottom. I don't know. Here's, I guess, my feeling on most all this stuff, sort of like when, I don't know, what's her name comes out with shoes that are racist. Like, do you think that was her intent, Katy Perry? Do you think she wanted to make racist shoes?
No.
And if the answer is no, then nothing to see here. Go protest police brutality. Like, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to graft everything onto everything, or to even stop, or even waste your time with certain things. Like, go find. Last I checked, there's still human trafficking going on. Set every piece of energy you have toward getting dolls taken down at the Toys R Us, and put it all into human trafficking.
But I totally agree with you, but this might be a click different, because it's not like, oh, we're pulling all the Moana costumes because it's cultural appropriation. This is like, this feels different. It's not like, I'm not saying get rid of the doll. I'm saying it doesn't feel totally one-to-one, because you don't want your kid going around and like trying to, put its finger up every doll's butt just to see if it's going to giggle, or friends in preschool.
We have a weird relationship with what encourages people to do whatever. Like, we have a version. So we have like a weird relationship with it. Like, we have rap music, and they're talking about shooting people and dropping N-bombs, and someone goes, well, that doesn't make young people do anything. That's just them expressing their art, and people get it, and there's a context, and I'm like generally in that camp. And then there is a version where it's like Trump's blowing a dog whistle to the Klan when he says this, or urban that, and that's going to make these people do this. And I'm like, and then there's video games that's going to encourage people to go out and be violent. And they're like, or it's not. But I'm saying they have a weird selective version of how we interpret all this stuff, because some people, and sometimes the same people, can be in one camp where like this message is getting people to do that. And then the same people are saying there's nothing wrong with that rap music, or there's nothing wrong with video games, or buttons on taints of troll dolls. And I'm saying, in general, I don't think we're near as pliable as people think we are in terms of like hearing rap music or playing video games or troll
tip or gore
taint, taint buttons or whatever. I think at least it's safe to say that if you raise your kids and you do a decent job raising your kids, they're not going to hear rap lyrics, play a video game, or see a taint troll doll and go out and experiment. He
touched me in my troll giggle area.
That's just me.
Get that drop.
Max Zapata, I was showing you on my phone, I was showing you that Love Boat thing I was filming
There
the
are
other
a few
day.
different Love Boat clips. I didn't know exactly.
I think it's the first one where the hot chick is getting on the boat. It just reminded me with this sort of message and the sexuality and all that kind of stuff. I just sit and watch The Love Boat every night, and it's like this one, the hot chick gets on the boat. It's like Jill St. John or something, the heart-to-heart chick. I think it was the heart-to-heart chick. She gets on the boat, and the doc, Gopher, and the captain are all just standing there greeting them, and they're all trying to bang her. as she walks onto the boat. This is the captain, the doctor, and the purser all just standing there laughing about trying to get in her pants. As she walks onto the boat.
Simpler time.
Simpler times. All right, I'll tell you about Geico first. I'll let Max Pata see if he can find that. Right now, Geico's offering an extra 15% credit on car, motorcycle, and RV policies. That's 15% on top of the money Geico could already be saving you. So, what are you waiting for? Let's get going and let's save money now. Never been a better time to switch to Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. Visit geico.com to learn more. That is geico.com. So they're all just hanging around. I've been on 5 cruises now. I don't think I've met the captain or the doctor for that matter. But I want you guys to take a look at the I just shot it right off my TV, so it's not like I downloaded anything or anything, so it's a little bit rough. But I want you to take a look at the doctor and his face as he's trying to pick up this hot chick who just walked on the boat. The captain's going for it first. Sorry, Max Pata, you can play.
142. Certainly, Miss Dalrymple.
Oh, my.
Just up the stairs.
Look at the doc.
He's making eyes at her.
Dr. Bricker, I'll show you to your cabin. It's right next to my office.
Oh.
Dr. Bricker, excuse me. Yes? Your office is on the other side of the ship. Haven't you heard? Business has been so good, I opened a branch. Perhaps I should show Miss Dalrymple. That way I can save her from the clutches of certain love-boat lounge lizards. Lounge lizards?
Here comes the third employee of the cruise line.
Yes. I've been on a plane all day. I'd like to go to my cabin.
No problem.
I'm sure.
All right, you can pause it. Now, later on, Gopher ends up banging her, so... the doc is like, I'll walk you to your cabin. It's right next to my office. Like, your office is on the other side of the ship. Well, I franchised. It's the weirdest.
He's got her by the elbow. Like, that's how you grab your girl when you're pissed.
This is mainstream 8 o'clock ABC primetime television. Single chicks climbing onto a vessel, captain, doctor. You want to talk about throwing your title around or, that obviously it's, Louis C.K.'s in trouble because if you tell junior comic, hey, you want stage time, don't you? That's you lording your position over them, right? This, the captain, the doctor, just wildly and openly just hitting on hot single chick, getting on the boat. Like before she even gets to her cabin. Hasn't even got to her cabin. They're trying to drag her up there. I love it. God.
There's a laugh track.
There's a laugh track. And as I always say, these scripts all had to be approved by Princess Cruise Lines. They all had to give approval on these. I can't remember what I was talking about with this or with Drew, but I mean, if somebody said for breakfast, hey, Isaac, these muffins are a little stale, they would have crossed that out. You can't say that. We're running a cruise ship here. You understand? We have a reputation. We have a reputation here. Oh, man, you guys got to watch The Love Boat. Max Pata, how insane is that?
It's odd to even see it. I can't explain it. Like that's nothing like that's on now.
It'd be one thing if the captain saw the bartender doing it and then reprimanded him. The captain and the doctor are going, get out of the way. I got here first.
Yeah, they're falling over themselves.
Yeah, that's like a sexual harassment HR video of what not to do.
It's an HR video, right?
Yeah.
Show it to us one more time and just show me the doc's face. All you have to do is look at turn the sound down and just look at the doc's face. That's all I want you to do when he's like undressing her with his eyes and mugging at the camera. He's never met this woman before. Close eye on Doc's face.
Ooh. He even gives a
Go back one more time, Max Pata. You got to just see. We got to get the bar out of there. Sorry.
Ooh la la.
I just sit home every night of 10 at night watching this shit going, I cannot believe this is what happened. And that's where I got all my ideas about sexuality and the male and the female roles. So
how's that serving you in 2020?
Yeah. It is seared into my brain. I'm grandfathered in.
Programmed.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the big ragu come in?
The big ragu. The big ragu, was watching a promo and I just couldn't. He's like a miniature little acrobat. But sexually, the big Ragu, he factors in. I'm not comfortable saying how.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, Gina.
All right. One more?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this series of pictures has gone viral in the last 24 hours, really making the rounds. A German man sunbathing in the nude at a lake in Berlin had his leisurely day thrown into a tailspin when a wild boar made off with his laptop. But unlike other people, he's not just pissing and moaning, my laptop's gone. Oh no. According to an Instagram post that has all the pictures, and I'll show you in a second, a woman who was at the lake where the incident occurred, where the man was sunbathing naked, really gave us the whole story. She writes in her description, the boars first ate a pizza from a man's backpack and then spotted a bright yellow bag which had the laptop in it. They scooped it up, bolted, and I'll show you the pictures now.
Oh.
And
She put a couple of emojis over him just to give him a little bit of dignity, although I don't know if the 10-gallon hat helps. We have another one.
It's a wild boar with the
family of wild boars.
Grab the.
And there he goes with the laptop, and I think there's one more.
Yeah.
He finally snatched it back.
I've noticed some others around wearing the Speedo. They wear the Speedo in Europe. And a lot of those dudes, you see those middle-aged dudes that got the gut on them and they got a little extra weight around the midsection, and they're wearing the Speedo. And it's not too big a leap to get from there to nude. You know what I'm saying? See, here,
small piece of fabric.
We wear board shorts. We got guys with shorts that go down below their knee and come up under their fucking third rib. We got guys with huge shorts. Like the board shorts are as long as the pants my son wore when he was 6. Like we have 3-foot long shorts. To get us nude, there's got to be a couple of steps. To go from board shorts to nude, that's a leap. Speedo to nude, that's half a lateral move, and your balls are hanging out.
You're not leaving anything to the imagination in a Speedo. And I speak as somebody who has been to multiple Greek beaches with, middle-aged Greek men. That's just the style. And a lot of the moms, they are hanging out, just doing their thing. So, I mean, it to see nudity is neither here nor there, but it is jarring when you're not used to it.
So the boar stole it. Did he get it back?
The laptop. The whole point of the post was, look at how focused this guy was, this naked older man, to get this back. He ran, he leapt over stuff, he's dangling in the breeze, running as fast as he can, snatches the yellow bag back, and when he went back to his towel, this woman who wrote the post said everybody stood up nude and clapped for him.
I got a policy with nude bathing, which is I'm not uptight about it, but if I'm in an area and there are animals that possess tusks, I keep the shorts on. It's a tusk-related thing,
Yeah.
And boars have tusks, and I don't expose the sack anywhere near the tusk because the sack and the tusk, although they almost sound alike, sack and tusk, but they're really oil. They're water and vinegar. They're just they shouldn't go anywhere near each other. Yes, Bryan.
I was at the place where I was at in Sedona. Lots of guys in board shorts. Also, coincidentally, maybe not, wild animals, javelinas.
Oh, javelinas!
Right. Javelinas, deer, all sorts of there are bats.
Wild pigs. It is funny that in the world, as uptight as we are, you could almost tell. Like if you go to Rio de Janeiro or something, they're all wearing like thong back, nothing, nut hammocks or whatever. We wear like shorts that are 3 feet long with Velcro and a drawstring. We're tying it up, man.
Good luck getting in here.
Good luck raping my ass. Like I got Velcro, I got a button, I got an inside button, I got a shoelace here. Like I'm tying this shit all up. These are fucking pants that I'm wearing to the beach. Like it's culture. It's like it's kind of, they got pockets, they got everything, and they got a liner in there. Like I'm wearing a Speedo under my shorts. I got the sack hammock in there. Like some of those board shorts are pretty fucking involved.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're just wearing that. I think culturally, you would know everything about the culture just going down the line to what they wear to the beach, right?
Indeed.
Good luck getting to my tickle button.
All right, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Nick Walenda's going to be on tomorrow. The High Wire Act. The guy's done the Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls.
What are they, Brazilian? Argentinian?
Something like that. I think maybe Argentinian, or at least the Walenda. I don't know, but I believe it was his grandfather who was an
Austro-Hungarian descent, primarily.
He died in Argentina, right? Am I making that up?
He died in Puerto Rico.
Or Puerto Rico, sorry.
They've been around for years and years and years and years.
Yes. They've been around for
I
a
watched the
long
last
time.
My mom was staying with me for a week a couple months ago, and those big mosquito hawks, one's flying in my kitchen, and my mom says, Michael, you got a flying Melendez in there. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, they've been around for generations. Yeah.
Yeah, the last one was across that volcano pit.
Right.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So we'll talk to Nick about that. All right, 15 seconds worth of JB Weld here. Their proud sponsor, the Adam Carolla Show, epoxy adhesive brand used by both DIYers and experienced pros as well. Trusted for 50 years. Available at jbweld.com. Retailers everywhere, including Home Depot and Lowe's and AutoZone. It's JB Weld. All right, Tempe Improv is on as far as we know. We have no idea anymore. September 18th and 19th. We'll do a live podcast there and stand-up as well. I'm Your Emotional Support Animal is available. Go to Amazon and leave a review. I do read them, and I do appreciate them. Jeff Cesario, everybody. You can check out his podcast, Play with Pain, with Jeff. Oh, sorry, with Chet Waterhouse. Well, Jeff Cesario. Available Apple Podcasts as well. Till next time, it's Adam for Jeff and Gina and Bald saying mahalo.